let's talk about a 996 that sold for $24,000 on Bring a Trailer. So this is the link right now to Bring a Trailer of the auction listing that recently passed. And as you can see, a base Carrera 996. Remember, this is the ugly duckling of the 911 world. Nobody likes this car, but now it seems it's being appreciated, that people are understanding that we're no longer getting these analog cars, we're no longer getting these raw cars. At the end of the day, it's still a Porsche. Some may argue it's ugly, others may argue it's beautiful, but now we're finally seeing the prices stable out. They're starting to creep up a little bit, and this is one of the listings I would like to talk about that recently sold. So as we look at this auction listing that recently passed, we look at the results and we see it sold for $24,000, and it had roughly 40,000 miles on it. It was a yellow 996, and it's really interesting because we haven't really seen something like this in the past. Like typically the 996s, they were dirt cheap. You could pick up one for around 10 to 15,000 for an beat up one, and 15 to 20 for a really mint example. And now we're starting to see some mint examples creeping up in the low to mid 30s, and some that are actually good to quite really good range are actually in the low to mid 20s, or maybe even the high 20s. And even the beat up ones, you can't even find them for $10,000 anymore. Now you're finding a beat up one for around 12 to 15,000, which seems to be on par with what people are asking in the markets. But you could probably pick this up wholesale for a little bit cheaper, but it's just surprising to see these results. Now I'm going to be showing a couple of clips from the listing here, but it's really interesting to see how the 996s are actually being appreciated. Like the new 992, I happen to find it's hideous. I don't like it whatsoever. I actually prefer the 991 over the 992 generation. Body style, looks, and even the options, the interiors, horrible on the 992. And it's really interesting to see how now collectors they know that the new cars are just going to be technology heavy. They're no longer going to give that raw, visceral feel. Yeah, they're a Porsche. Yeah, they're getting better and faster, but it's just not like the good old days, as they say. Like the older Porsches, that is why they command a premium, because they're giving you that feel, they're giving you that sound. There's barely any tech. Yeah, the 991 has a lot of tech, but it's not as much tech as we saw in the 992, where you have this virtual cockpit and screens galore. People want more raw experiences. We want analog dials. And so looking at this listing of the 996, it's really, really interesting to see how it's actually, they're coming up in value. And I was scrolling through, and you can find other listings of 996s that are commanding right around the 20 mark. But is now the time to pick up a 996 is the question I'm actually wondering about. And I think now might be the time before it's too late. Because as we're entering a new year, the 992 will be out, people will be driving those, and they'll miss the car that gives them less tech. They're not going to be worried about what's the latest navigation upgrade in their Porsche. They're going to be looking about, how can I drive my car? How can I get the best Porsche experience for the best bang for my buck? And they're going to be looking at the 996s. And as you already see, you can find the 996 Turbos, the 996 Turbo S's, the 996 GT3s, and even the GT2s are commanding like mid to high 5 figures, with some commanding low 6 figures. And you have to wonder, what is going on with the 996 market? Is it actually going up? And I think the answer to that is yes. That if you're looking to buy a car that you can drive and that you can enjoy, and it'll also be a solid investment, I would highly consider looking at the 996. And even looking at the 997, you can see some high mileage 997s, very base with their options, a very base model. They're creeping into the low 30s, some of them mid 20s. And you have to wonder, like now that the 996s are coming up, is that going to outprice the 997s? And now the people who would typically buy a used 997, are they going to be looking at the 996s to see if they can get on this new wave, or get on the curve before the wave starts going up, and actually feel the appreciation of their values? So that's one of the questions I would like to leave in the comment section below. Do you think the 996 Porsche is going to be the next Porsche to creep up in value and become the next collector status Porsche? And if you do think, why? And if not, please explain yourself, because I happen to think the 996s are just finally being appreciated for what they are. Their headlights are finally being appreciated. It's no longer hideous and ugly, but it will be a good buy and a good investment for the future. Thank you.